Good evening. Welcome to your City Council meetings. Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. It's 7:01 p.m. Regular meetings are held on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Davies? Councilmember Genoway?
Present.
Councilmember Jennings?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Minigar?
Present.
And Mayor Susowitz.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. All I got to do is find the agenda and we'll be ready to go here. Somewhere. Thank you very much. All right, this time I'd like to ask Reverend Jim Zeiler, I hope I got that right, to come forward for the invocation. And then we got a special treat. We're going to have some Girl Scouts that have won the Gold and Silver Award winners. They're going to come up and lead us in the pledge. Reverend, please stand.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you and praise you for the glory of your creation and for the splendor of this place that we get to call home, Laguna Niguel. I thank you for the men and women that you have called to elected leadership and also to service here in our town, and ask for your richest blessings upon those in service to our citizens. Lord God, as this city council gathers to deliberate this evening, to discern, but also to celebrate educators and Girl Scouts, I ask that you would fill this place with wisdom, with joy, and with thanksgiving. We pray for your richest blessings on this meeting on this night. Amen.
Please remain standing, girls.
If everyone would please remain standing, I would greatly appreciate that. Color Guard, advance. Thank you. If everyone would please place their right hand over the heart and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
And girls, if you can stay down there, please. So these girls, these girls all have won their gold award, which is the top honor for Girl Scouts. And they were kind enough, because they're going to get awards a little bit later today, to lead us in the pledge. So I know they're going to get a chance to introduce themselves, but just to follow tradition, just give your name and school, and if you're a senior going to college, tell us where you're going to go to school next year.
Hi, my name is Leia Alcantara. I'm a senior at San Juan Hills High School, and next year I'll be attending USC.
Hi, my name is Tamara Jafar. I'm a senior at Dana Hills High School, and I will be attending UC Berkeley in the fall.
Hello, my name is Erica Dunning. I am a senior at Dana Hills High School. I will be attending Central Oregon Community College and hopefully will transfer to Whitman College.
Hi, I'm Nikki Menegar, and I'm a sophomore at Dana Hills High School, so I'm not going to college yet.
Hi, I'm Ainsley Johnstone. I'm a senior at Mater Dei High School, and I'm going to the University of Michigan. Go Blue.
Okay, so if anyone wants to get photos. Now, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but parents, we want to thank you as well, because we know the dedication it took to get these girls to the level that they're at today. It's a huge, huge honor, but it's a big achievement of time, effort, energy. The patches that some of these girls have is just hours and hours of work. So, again, we want to thank you, because these are the leaders of tomorrow. of our major communities. So thank you very much.
Color Guard, if you could please be dismissed.
Okay. Girls, we'll see you in a few minutes. I think that's it for us, right? We go back up, or is there one down here? Oh, that's right. Okay, we can do it. Well, the first is Todd Burnett. Is he here? Dr. Burnett? Okay, I heard he may not be coming. But we do have an award for Dr. Burnett. You want to just, should we hold it, somebody? Dr. Todd Burnett is retiring from Saddleback College. You know, Saddleback is one of the top schools for local students to transfer into, you know, major institutions, and it's right here in our backyard. We've been very lucky to have leadership like Dr. Burnett. He's a dynamic visionary, performance-driven leader, distinguished career in higher education, served from 2008 to present, 9th president of Saddleback College, 8th largest community college in California. Led the college transformation to a preeminent higher education institution in the United States. He was a visionary. He had tremendous leadership in all areas. They formed partnerships with the school district, Saddleback Valley Unified School District, high school partnership programs, career technical education, and so we want to just honor him as in his retirement. We'll send this off to him. So thank you, Dr. Burnett. Hopefully you're watching. Next, we have Mental Health Month. Who's coming up? There you guys are. Thank you very much. So you guys want to come up? Let's go this way. This is a declaration for May for Mental Health Month, and they just had a huge walk, the High Five Walk. What is on the 22nd of April or something like that? Come on up. For that, it was a great event. Had the ability to go. Here we go. Try this on. This is how we're supposed to do it now. High five. There we go. There, you can do it that way. So, again, before I make the presentation, do you want to make any comments? Sure. So introduce yourself. And your team.
I'm Mara James, the founder and CEO of the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. This is Amy Packer, our treasurer, and Patricia Newton as a board member. And we're honored to have Laguna Niguel recognize May as National Mental Health Awareness Month. And Mayor Jerry came out to our event a couple of weeks ago, and it meant the world to us. And we have 2 more events coming up. One is Saturday at Petco Park, where the Dodgers will play in the Padres, and the week after at Angel Stadium. And one of our goals is to have most or all Major League Baseball stadiums recognize May as National Mental Health Awareness Month, the same way that October is known for breast cancer awareness. And our mission is to support pediatric mental health and wellness, because we believe that the sooner we can help the children, the more severe diagnosis will occur down the road. So I'd like to say thank you.
Well, thank you for all you do. And again, it's really important that people understand that, you know, when you hear mental health, you think of, you know, people that are, you know, really having, you know, major issues. Stress is a form of mental health, and especially amongst our youth today, they're saying that this is at all-time high levels. And, you know, these things lead to problems now or later in life, and you know, it's really important that we try to do what we can. So whereas the month of May has been declared National Mental Health Month, according to the U.S. Surgeon General, mental health is fundamental to health and indispensable to personal well-being, family, and interpersonal relationships. Mental illness will strike 1 in 5 Americans in any given year, regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or economic status. There are widespread misunderstandings and discrimination concerning mental health that can be eliminated by recognizing that mental illnesses are real, common, and treatable. Whereas National Mental Health Month is a time for communities to acknowledge the importance of mental health and take action to ensure the individuals with mental illness have access to the care, treatment, and prevention and services they need. The Laguna Niguel City Council does declare the month of May 2017 as Mental Health Month in the city of Laguna Niguel. There you go. Thank you. Yes. What to get your hands on. Thank you again. Here you go. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you so much. Okay. And next, we have to change the order because these girls were just up here for the flag. We have the accommodations for the gold awards for our Girl Scouts. So I'm going to call you one at a time, and if you can hang out up here, and then we're going to do another picture. First one up, I want to call, and if I can get my council members to help me out here with this, is Leah Alcantara. Leah, come on up. I had the privilege of coaching Leah years ago with the assistance of her father. Helped a tremendous amount. Good to see you again. So again, this is the culmination of years and years of time and dedication by the girls and their family. But what I want you to do is I want you to describe, a little bit about how you got here, maybe what your project was.
This actually ties into the last thing that you just talked about. So my project was titled Stress Management for Self-Help. And basically what I did is I held 2 seminars at my school. One was for parents specifically, and one was for students, where it's basically like an information outreach to try and get awareness out there that mental health is a big issue in the community and in the world globally. So the first night like this, I did seminars at my school working with our guidance counselors. And then following this, we gave them a bunch of resources for students to actually go to if they do find themselves stressed or with mental health issues. And so I made a website additionally, where students can and people around the world can go to first identify their stress issue, and then identify what's the problem that's causing this, and then find solutions for their specific issues. So yeah.
Were you going to go to school?
USC.
Yes, so I just can't get here enough. Were you going to go to school?
I'm going to be going to USC after a year.
And what are you going to study?
Electrical engineering.
Wow.
Yeah.
One more, Fred. Sure. Great. Thank you very much. I mean, again, you see that these are the best of the best. These are the best and the brightest. To get to this level, that's what I said at the beginning. These are our future leaders. These aren't, we're not just passing awards out to anybody. The level of, commitment that these girls and their families had to do is just amazing. Next up, Rebecca Bogdanovic. Oh, she's not here. Okay. I missed that one. Okay, very good. Erica Dunning. And again, Erica, just a little bit about yourself and what your plans are for the future, but mostly tell us, what you did to earn your Gold Award.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're staying spicy. For my Gold Award, with the introduction of the Common Core standards, first grade astronomy was added to the first grade science curriculum. And in response to that, a lot of the first grade teachers had not previously taught that subject and did not necessarily have the materials required to teach that. So I worked with teachers at John S. Malcolm Elementary School to create a complete curriculum for astronomy based on those standards, and created labs and other, utensils to go along with the curriculum, along with kits, so that everything in the curriculum would be accessible to those students and they could be shared throughout the district.
Fantastic. Where are you going to go to school? This is a directed woman. Go ahead.
I'm going to be going to Central Oregon Community College, and hopefully I will transfer to Whitman College with a focus in astronomy, either in physics or in exobiology.
And I'm sure with that kind of plan and an Eagle Award winner, she's going to be very successful at that. Here, hold it. We got pictures here. Thank you. Okay. Tamara Jafar. And I had the honor of coaching her brother, so, just all stays in the family here tomorrow. And again, just tell us about yourself and what you're going to do in the future, but how you got your award.
Hi, my name is Tamara Jafar. I created a technology class at a local senior center, Del Bispo Terrace Senior Center, and I taught a monthly technology class to seniors where I basically had students from Dana Hills High School come and help me teach senior citizens on how to communicate with friends and family around the world that aren't always able to visit them. So I taught them Facebook, Skype, games, and all these different activities. So yeah, that was fun.
Where are you going to go to school?
I will be attending UC Berkeley in the fall, hopefully to study public health.
Fantastic. Pictures. No, stay here. Stay here. Hold it. Tomorrow. We got it. We need the city picture here. Congratulations. Okay. Next up, Ainsley Johnstone. Seems like it's tonight's soccer night. I used to coach her as well. So again, a little bit about yourself, where you're going to go to school, and tell us why Michigan, and because it's such a good school. And then tell us about the award, of course, and how you got there.
Yeah, I'm Ainsley. I'm going to the University of Michigan to study nursing. I put together and led a self-defense seminar to teach high school age girls how to prevent sexual assault and to spread awareness about the severity of sexual assault. I worked with the Women's Transitional Living Center and Mariposa to help spread awareness and self-defense tips.
Now, do you have some sort of self-defense background? Do you have a
Yeah, I took some Krav Maga classes. And that's the self-defense methods they learned.
We'll keep away from him for the pictures then. Here we go. And you're going to study at?
University of Michigan. Nursing, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And last, we have Nikki Minigar. I was trying to get her dad to do the introduction. Nikki, the only non-senior in the group, congratulations, which again, not taking anything away from the girls because it's great that you guys get it. Most times it takes until your senior year to accomplish this. Nikki's a sophomore and got to this level, so that's pretty well driven. So Nikki, again, if you want, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're not going to go to college, but tell us how you got your award and a little bit about it.
For my Gold Award project, I created a league for low-income middle, elementary, and high school students where myself and other students at the Dana Hill Speech and Debate team would travel to these schools and run a 6-week program where we go 2 days a week for an hour each day, and we train them on techniques, and we go through the process of public speaking so they can get better at public speaking because it's the second fear in the world after dying.
Where do you want to go to college?
And I want to go to college at NYU.
There you go. Nikki's brother is a Eagle Award winner, and you have some other things you want to? Well, okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Nikki serves on the youth committee, and again, the youth committee is the best of the best of the local kids as well that serve. We have a couple more accommodations. This one here is from the State Assemblyman, Bill Bro, a certificate of recognition. Congratulations on receiving the Girl Scout Gold Award, highest award in Girl Scouting. You have displayed outstanding talents in service organization, identifying the needs of your community. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Signed, Assemblyman Bill Bro. Here you go. And then we have another one. certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Nikki Minigar upon your receipt of the Gold Award of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, signed Congressman Dana Rohrabacher. So she's walking away with a lot here. Okay, here we go, pictures. Now, girls, let's do one with all of you, if you don't mind. This is a big deal. I mean, seriously, guys, this is huge, what these girls have accomplished. Parents, I know you're proud, but girls, you should all be proud of yourself. Congratulations again. And I think that's it, right? Are we for down here? Yep, we're good. Okay, let's go. Okay, so that concludes our presentations. Public communications is next. Any person wishing to address the city council on any matter, whether or not appears on the agenda, is required to submit a gold-colored request to speak form over there by Sergeant Songer. He won't bite. He'll let you through. City clerk provided to Ms. Gomez prior to being heard by the city council. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak, and I have 2. If there's any other ones, please fill them out as we go. First up, we have June Lopez. June is the Moulton Niguel Water District Director.
I believe she's going to speak on the
Oh,
item, the Molten Miguel item.
apologize for that. Okay, I thought this was under public. Okay, okay, I understand now. So then we have Martha McNicholas. Martha is the chair of the Capo Unified School District, but I think you're here to speak regarding Relay for Life with your beautiful purple on.
Yes, I am. I'm a trustee and currently the president of the school board, Capistrano Unified, but I'm here speaking on behalf of Relay for Life, and I thank you all for stopping by our kickoff meeting over here, and thank you for Councilmember Janaway for wearing purple tonight. And we have leftover cookies, so I'm going to bring you all a cookie and just remind you of August 19th is our Relay for Life this year, and we're trying a new format. It's only a 6-hour format from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you don't be for a skin cancer survivor. I'm glad we're avoiding the middle of the day sun, and we're going to cram all of our activities into 6 hours. So we'll have instead of having string them out over 12, and hopefully we'll raise a lot of money and put more money into research and services for cancer patients. So thank you again for attending and for your ongoing support of the event. And let me give you some cookies.
Thank you. Oh, I do. Yeah, no, it's all good. Thank you for the nice event earlier. Okay, so that concludes our public communications. Let's move on to the consent calendar, items 1 through 6. Are there any items that need to be pulled for comments or discussions? I'll start with Councilmember Davies from right and work left. Mayor Pro Tem,
None.
Councilmember Jennings, Genoway, either one, none. Good. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to move the consent calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment?
Please, of course.
I would just like to point out, we've recognized Mental Health Month here in the chambers during presentations, And in recognition that mental health issues need to be addressed, this year in the CDBG program, we did make a recommendation for Care Possible, which does address and take care of those who have mental health problems in our community. So the city is very cognizant of that issue and doing what we can at this point.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other comments? We good? All right, great. So let's move over to our first business item, and it's Parks and Recreation item number 1, naming of city facilities policy. Parks and Recreation Director Giglio, please provide a staff report.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. At the February 7th City Council meeting, City Council requested that staff develop a policy for naming of city facilities in order to address recent and future naming requests and ensure consistency with the process. This was in response from a recent public request to name a room at Sea Country Senior and Community Center after former Mayor Joe Brown. Staff received a variety of feedback from City Council members, some supporting naming of facilities and others not in favor, which is summarized in the staff report. A draft policy was included as attachment A for your consideration and review. It outlines a few points that require consensus from the City Council, including how many terms a City Council member must serve before being considered, and if a nominee may be living or deceased, and if deceased, for how long. It is recommended that the City Council discuss the draft policy, select the criteria, if appropriate, for a city facilities naming policy, and adopt the City of Laguna Niguel naming policy based on such criteria or revisions as deemed appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Before Chief Perkins, we got a chair for you up in front. You deserve the seat of honor, if you don't mind. Thank you, sir. Right over here on the left. Okay, sorry about that. I just saw him in the back, so I want him to have his seat of honor. Thank you for attending our city council meeting. Okay, so with that, let's open it up to discussion. I'll start on my left. Councilmember Jennings.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I had a couple of points, and we went through those. Those are well articulated here. My sense is from the exemplars that we had, I recognize most of those as being larger cities, and my thought on that is that those are cities that have a lot of places, a lot of rooms, a lot of parks, a lot of need for such things. Laguna Niguel is many things, and it's also finite in its space. And you know, if I had to express a preference, I would, rather than naming this room and the other rooms around town and get into what might be considered a competitive environment where there are rooms which are better than other rooms and things that are named and whatever's left and that type of thing. I would like to try to find a way that if we're going to do that it would be a more equal environment where if that recognition's bestowed on somebody, we could do either a wall of honor in our courtyard, which I'm looking out at here across from the council chambers, or something like that that might envision a gold city seal and their name below it, and something like that. And I don't mean that as a disrespect. It's actually quite the opposite. I think it's a more befitting, more specific, more enduring environment, because city buildings sometimes they need to be updated. I have every reason to believe the city will be here for a very long time. There may be people and citizens 50 years from now that want to get in on the naming. There wouldn't be either anything left, or the buildings that had already been named were in need of repair or something like that. Just looking at the list that was put together, and I appreciate Parks and Rec and Allison, your efforts on this. I would note, because we have term limits on city council, the first item was if you were going to name somebody, I don't think it would be necessarily necessary to have 3 terms, because we are term limited at 2 unless you wait and come back again. So I think that would just be more in keeping with the rest of the code. I'm not sure if I have more than that. I'd be interested to hear what the rest of the council has to say, but I am against the naming of rooms generally. I think it detracts from that, and I think we have a better way to do that. If we're going to do anything at all, I think we should do that. And if we get back to talking about who should be nominated and that type of thing, if that's what this is going to turn into, I'd have some more comments. But thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. And again, we'll go around until everybody has their way before we make a vote, or even if we have a nomination to vote, then if someone jumps in early, then we can still go around and discuss it until we're ready. Let's go to my right now with Councilmember Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. Looking back on February 7th, council decided to formally look into this policy, naming city facilities and have all our input. So I, again, went through this and went through the different suggestions, and I kind of asked myself, why is it that for 25 years this really kind of was a non-issue? And so that was really my main thing. And you know, and we had Sea Country that was built. There was a city hall if there was ever a time, because we don't have a lot of projects that we've had. That probably would have been the time that they're going to name perhaps that community room or something at Sea Country. And so I looked at the suggestions, and I realized we all have different opinions. Nothing was black and white, but for my concern is when you do something like this, it can become very political. And it can be why him, why not her. And for me, what makes our city stand out is the overwhelming amount of citizens that volunteer their time. And that includes council. That includes probably everybody in this room here, and then some. And it's always been a team effort that has made this city such an incredible community. As for the past, current council, we've always respectfully been given, so for both of us and the past, we've always been respectfully given the honor to our title when we attend events in the city and out of the city. We are listed on plaques on major city projects like Tier 1 of Crown Valley. Appointed mayors have their photo placed in the chamber, and the city acknowledges us when we finish our terms. And for me, that's enough. As for leadership, Wall, I truly feel that a great leader is a humble leader, and although a nice gesture, it's not necessary. I feel that those that unselfishly give their time to our city are given the praise with the annual volunteer dinner, as well as Citizen of the Year. And I believe also the electives, you know, we serve because we want to serve, and we're constantly honored. I mean, we do kind of get in the spotlight, and for me, again, I think that's great. What we've done for the city will always be there. And so for me, I actually make this a non-issue, and I would like to see a policy that we don't name any building or room after anyone, but also we don't do any type of wall. I would like to see things as they are. I think we have, again, Citizen of the Year, we have the volunteer dinner. We're given the praise when we go to the meetings, and I hope that, all of our work will live on, but I don't need to have my name on a wall. Thank you.
Right. Councilmember Genoway.
Well, since this came up in February, I've given this quite a bit of thought and have talked to some former council members as to why this hadn't been a policy in the past. And thinking about it and thinking about what Laguna Niguel is, I feel that naming any facilities after anybody is really counter to the Laguna Niguel culture. We are a community of volunteers who work together, and some year someone has the top spot and the next year they don't, but they're still working right along with everybody else. And that's what has kept our city the high quality of life that we have, and a lot of that is attributable to what the volunteers add. And in fact, when I was preparing my council comments for tonight, I was looking at all the things that took hundreds and hundreds of volunteers to do. And so I think to start naming city facilities or rooms after anybody is counter to our culture. I did speak with 3 former council members, and quite honestly, number one, they thought we had a policy to not name any facilities after anyone, and some of them recalled some vigorous discussion and were surprised that we didn't. And then they also told me, that they felt that would be dangerous, that would be a slippery slope that we would be getting on. How do you choose one person over another? And in our city's history, we have a short history. We're 28 years, and to start naming rooms after people, we do have a finite supply of rooms and of buildings. So I just think that it could become a very political process. And all of this started with an unsolicited nomination, and I think that I would prefer to see the city have a policy that we not name rooms and buildings after people, that we name them after geographic sites or something that has to do with the history of our city. But I think it's counter to the culture of our city, and would hate to see us start down that road where it could then become a very political process.
Great, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Miniger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With all due respect to my colleagues' opinions, I do concur with your your assessment of this proposal. In my personal life, I go to a lot of cities in California. To be specific, I go to 89 cities in California, and anytime, if it's City of Beverly Hills, City of Santa Monica, City of Los Angeles, City of San Francisco up north, or any other cities, one of the first things that I see is that those municipal corporations are recognizing the people that had served them. And your points are well taken that our city is very special. We're highly educated, affluent, a first-class city. I get it. I understand that. The city was incorporated in 1989. It's a new city. We need time to grow. But we've reached to a point that with regard to the former elected officials, we have quite a few idols, quite a few role models that they are truly public servants. And honestly, from a personal perspective, I do hate to see someone passing and then we come back here and we recognize them. I think a lot of these citizens, including my very good friend, Dr. Joe Brown, that I've known him for 25 years in our great city, he's been a leader. He's been made, he's done so much for the city that I don't know if by naming any facility under his name, we are doing anything, I call it political. So now I go to other states, it's the same. Any other cities you go, with no exception, I've seen the same. I already counted in the city of Irvine, my office has been in Irvine for the past 24 years. Anytime I go to the city hall of the city of Irvine, it was established in 1973, I see all kinds of different facilities after specific, people, former US Marines, people that have dedicated their lives, and they have made significant contributions to the city of Irvine. There are 49 places in the city of Irvine that they can name someone's name on a plaque. So I think for us not to think about the people before us, definitely not us, what they've done, they're not coming back to the city council. A lot of them, as we all know, after 2 terms or some 3 terms, basically they are retired from the city government. So therefore, I don't see a reason why not to showcase their contributions to this great city. Now, with regard to what my colleagues, Councilman John Mark Jennings mentioned, 3 terms versus 2 terms, well, if we get to that aspect of this item, then I would favor, completing 2 successful contiguous terms should be the one, not 3 terms. And with that, I think we owe them a token of appreciation on the top of everything else that they've done. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. While it was from the public that solicited me on the item, I'm the one who thought it was a good idea to bring it forward. And really what I was trying to do was thinking, and this is what my initial thought was, and I brought the February 7th request to dedicate name a room at Sea Country Senior Center in honor of former Mayor Joe Brown. And then as we kind of hashed this out back then, was just along the lines of that this is government-owned facilities and that this would be only for government elected officials. And this was my thought, of course. This was not for the Citizen of the Year, not for the public and all that sort of stuff. So while we are a relatively new city, I mean, because for the first 25 years, it was a non-issue because we didn't have much history. But now that we have some history, I mean, I can only think of about a handful of people that, to name. And, obviously as the city ages, there'll be more people. But we do have, and again, in deference to Councilmember Jennings, there are some rooms that are going to definitely be better than others. But we're building, I think it's a 13-room. It's not finalized, obviously, yet, till we vote on it. But it'd be about 13 rooms at the park. I think it's something like that we're going to have. We've got a number of rooms here. We've got the city manager conference room. We've got the public works conference room. We've got this senior center that has the Pine Room, Yosemite Room. I mean, so I think that over 100 years, there's probably, especially if we set some criteria, There's a very high bar, and only for elected, formally elected officials that came from the city of Laguna Niguel. I think that there are plenty of rooms, although, again, they're not all equal. So, I don't exactly know where we are here. I mean, as I listen to everybody, I mean, we've got from let's not do it to, should we do it to, how do we do it? So let's go around one more time and see if we can come to some sort of consensus without taking a whole lot of time on this deal. But, originally I was thinking that some long-term, elected official, because they can't be, voted a citizen year after they're, while they're elected. And, I think there's enough rooms if we set the bar high enough that we won't run out of rooms. But, so should we go, let's go in reverse order on this one here. Mayor Pro Tem, you got any further comments before we see? Councilmember Genoway, any further comments?
Yeah. To me, limiting it to just electeds actually makes that, what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, worse.
What is it?
I
I'm
was
sorry.
trying to say,
What's the
not
word?
disagreeable, but I really wouldn't, that moves me further away from considering it to make it just for electeds. When we serve the residents of Laguna Niguel as an elected, there are many other ways that we are recognized, and we don't do it for the recognition. And I don't think this should be a substitute, because once you're elected, you are pretty much precluded from becoming Citizen of the Year. So this should not be a substitute for it. And I just think that it really is contrary to our culture, and I think it's contrary to what those who came before us said. And as I said, I did talk to 3 former council members, Joe Brown being one of them, and was not in favor of this policy.
Thank you. Councilmember Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I don't think there's any question in regards to the reputation and how we feel of our past leaders. A lot of these leaders have been my mentor, and the reason why I'm up here is because of them. But again, I just feel that it's not necessary, and we always say it's Laguna Niguel way. And that would be the Laguna Niguel way, that we put the focus on the city and not on individuals. And that's where I think we could be proud to stand up and say we are different. We don't need to have names after rooms and buildings, that we're proud to show that we, the people, that's who we represent. So I would still stay with basically I would want to make a motion to make it that we do not name buildings or rooms after any individuals, that we stay with basically signs or names, just like we do street signs and parks and our city hall, and that we stay with the city. And I also don't feel that we need to have any type of leadership wall. Again, I think that we get enough credit when we're up here, and that's where I would stay. Thank you, Mayor.
Was that a motion, though? Motion. Okay. All right, let's just continue discussion, so go ahead.
Yeah, I find those arguments compelling, to be honest. My comments were only directed if we were going to do something. I don't like naming rooms, and that would be something. Having listened to my colleagues, I completely agree with that. I really think that there isn't anyone who served the city that really expected to do so for the recognition alone. And knowing many of them and knowing many of the people who've held these chairs before us, I think I probably can speak for them as well and say that they might feel similarly. I would support such a motion, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Okay, so I might need the city attorney on this one. And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth either, Councilmember Davies. So you're making a motion that the city adopt a city facilities naming policy, that the city adopt a policy that we don't name city facilities. Is that what your motion is, or are you just shooting this one down?
No, that we do not make a policy that we do not name rooms or buildings after electives.
Yeah, which goes to your thing of that some people were surprised that we didn't have a policy, right? So that's what I'm saying,
Right.
but there isn't
So
one.
that's why I'm not sure if we need to have if we need to actually put this down in policy.
I just want you to, why don't you
Yeah,
work with
yeah.
the city attorney, clarify what you want the motion to be so we can do it right.
Certainly, Mayor.
My recommendation would be that you go ahead and have a policy so we don't spend another 26 or 27
That's what
years.
she's trying to do, yeah.
So I would recommend a motion something like the following: to adopt a policy that buildings and rooms not be named after people and that there be no sort of recognition wall.
And that sounds great.
You made the motion, you seconded it? Okay, any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, motion carries. Very good. Let's move on to, now we have the city manager item, and I'm going to call up June Lopez. Sorry, I got you a little bit early there. You had to stay for the rest of the entertainment.
Good evening. Thank you for having me back. Just wanted to give you a quick update. Again, this was the first council meeting that we brought this item to, and you kicked us off very well. Following the meeting, the other three cities, Mission Viejo, Aliso Viejo, and Laguna Hills, also adopted the resolution. So we thank you so much for your support. We do have an open agendized meeting scheduled for May 12th, which is Friday, at 3 p.m. And we hope that a lot of our stakeholders, our community members, our council members, and city staff, if you're available on a Friday, again, May 12th at 3 o'clock, and we can make the address available. It's in the city of Dana Point. We hope that you will be there to listen to the discussion and move this resolution forward.
Great, thank you. Can you please send that through the city clerk or
Absolutely.
to make sure we all have that? And so it's an open meeting, we're all invited,
Yes,
correct?
absolutely.
And again, you know, you represent us, and we appreciate all you do, and please, you know, do a great job. You know, we appreciate what you're trying to do. We get it, we understand, and we support you on that.
And we thank you all so much. So thank you.
Does anybody, oh, well, no, I guess we got to go through this whole deal, right? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for your comments. So I guess, do you need a city manager? You want to make a report on this?
Nope, then we heard the report, that's well, thank you.
Okay, there's no staff report, Dan, or anything like that? I'm just kind of reading this as we go along. Is there any comments from council on this item? So is there any need to make any motion, or is this just to inform and move? Okay, very good. That's great. Now on to other, and again, thank you all for coming, and we appreciate all you guys are doing for us. Okay, let's move on to council, other business and council reports. Let me just catch up here. Very good. So let's go to council reports. I'm going to start inside this time, and we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Vinegar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Wednesday, April 19th, I attended the joint meetings of the Transportation Corridor Agency to go over the combined budget of the San Joaquin Hills, Foothill, and Eastern Transportation Corridors. It was a workshop basically to get acclimated with their plans, programs, and CIP programs. On Friday, April 21st, early in the morning, I attended the Laguna Niguel Chamber of Commerce's meeting at El Niguel Country Club, along with Mayor Schlusowitz, and I believe Councilman John Mark Jennings was also attending the meeting. Then right after that, with Mayor Schlusowitz, I attended the Mayor's Roundtable with Capo Unified School District, executive management team, and also the president of Capo Unified School District, Martha McNicholas, and also from our city manager, Rod Foster, and from the cities of Aliso Viejo, Dana Point, San Clemente, San Juan Capistrano, Mission Viejo, and San Clemente. All the city managers and mayors and mayor pro tems were in attendance. Looking at the whole thing from a global perspective, I do see progress, slow progress with Capo Unified School District, even though we've had our differences, major differences with regard to allocation of funding and expenditure, but I think we are moving in the right direction. What I'm hoping is that based upon the outcome of all these discussions and all the suggestions that we have made to the top management of Capo Unified School District, we're hoping that whatever they're going to be putting on the ballot next year, it would be suitable and more than anything else to our community. What we care the most, quite frankly, because it's taxpayers' money, and we happen to be advocating for our citizens, and we are very conservative when it comes down to the expenditure of any tax money. We want to make sure that, number one, they are accountable, and number two, they are responsible. And we kept emphasizing, stressing that we wanted to see, and we echoed that very clearly. Our mayor talked about the financial aspect of it. We want to see what exactly we get for this city. Yes, I recognize that our high schools are not within the city's boundaries, but at the end, if it's going to be allocated to Aliso Niguel High School or Dana Hills High School in the city of Dana Point, we need to know how much of our tax money would be allocated, as well as for other middle and elementary schools. So it's work in the progress. We have no specific, decision that was made or has been approved by the Board of Trustees of Capital Unified School District. As I said, we've got a long way to go when it comes down to that, and we do have major differences in our opinions, more than any other cities in South Orange County. On Tuesday, April 25th, along with the entire City Council, I attended the Laguna Niguel Police Services all-hands event to recognize the outstanding services of our Orange County Sheriff Department, and in particular, our police services. It was a great event. On Tuesday, April 24th, along with Mayor Schlusowitz, I attended the special ad hoc committee on monument sign meetings at the City Hall. And we have directed the staff and the consulting team to bring back to us more conceptual plans, because in our opinion, I think we need some kind of unification among different elements of those monument signs. We want to make sure that they are cohesive. Not only those signs would rejuvenate, revitalize, beautify our great city, at the same time, we want to make sure that they are in sync, they would meld together. So we have to wait for the next meeting to see what kind of inclusiveness or what other signs they're going to be presenting to us. And once we make that determination, then obviously we're going to bring it back to the City Council for the final vote. On Wednesday, April 26th, I attended the Toll Roads Operations Committee. Then I attended the Finance Committee, hours and hours of meetings at the TCA headquarters to go over all the financial aspects and obviously transparency of when we pay tolls, what happens to the money that we pay. At 7 p.m. of the same day, along with Councilmember Laurie Davies, I attended the Traffic and Transportation Commission right here at the City Hall. And the core discussion was with regard to the comprehensive citywide permit parking. It's a very hard issue, and the Traffic and Transportation Commission made its determination, and sometime, I believe in June or July, it's going to come to the City Council for further discussion. And that remains to be seen, because all of us have to review all the documents, and then based on the facts, we have to make a determination on which direction we would like to move on that. On Thursday, April 27th, I attended the Orange County Council of Governments meeting at the Irvine City Hall. It was a hot, big, important meeting because we made some specific decisions, and one of them obviously is with regard to opposing Senate Bill 150. That it was brought to my attention that quite a few other organizations in Orange County and in California are opposing SB 150, including Orange County Transportation Authority, California Council of Governments, Southern California Association of Governments, and quite a few other organizations. Basically, the purpose of opposing that is they're setting regional greenhouse gas emission targets under SB 375, which is the Chapter 728 statutes of 2008, and requires a sustainable community strategy to include an appendix that outlines a region's transportation planning and programming activities that reduce criteria, air pollutants, and vehicle miles traveled. We are against that because, in addition, by shifting SB 375 to almost exclusively focusing on vehicles, miles of travel reduction targets, namely reducing VMT by 15% by the year 2050, the bill is no longer focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So we think that it's a deviation from their main mission. Therefore, OCOG made a unanimous decision to oppose Senate Bill 150 that we have sent it to Sacramento. There was another big item, which was with regard to, there are 34 cities in Orange County, and we have 14 representatives, and each representative, like myself, I represent 7 cities in South Orange County. We wanted to make sure that if we would be voting upon each member cities to allocate more funding, basically to spend more taxpayers' money to do computer demand forecasting, to do computer modeling, to do basically the planning aspects of the sub-region within Orange County, when SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments, is already doing it. They have tons of budget, they get federal funding, they get state funding. Why should we as a county, even though we are extremely conservative in this part of the state, why should we be spending taxpayers' money? And it was a unanimous vote to oppose that, meaning that we don't want OCOG to basically charge each member agency, including our beautiful city, to pay for those demand forecasting services for the year 2020 Regional Transportation Plan and Sustainable Communities Strategies. Let SCAG do it. At the end, SCAG is going to bring it back. We're going to have public forums like any other planning issue within the area, within the sub-region. There are 6 counties in Southern California, and let the people of Orange County later on, including our city, comment on that. And obviously, those draft reports ultimately would go to Community Development Department and every planning, division of every city in California, specifically in our area. So we're going to have plenty of time to critique the document, the nature of the computer demand forecasting, the nature of socioeconomic factors, demographic factors, if the population growth, employment growth, housing trends are not in sync with what we think. Obviously, that would be the juncture, that would be the platform that we can have, and I, for one, would be more than happy to echo our concerns with regard to any potential discrepancies. At this juncture, it's premature for me to say what's not right, what's right, or they're skewing the numbers, or the projections are not realistic. We have to wait and see, so let SCAG do that. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'm done. Thank you.
To do. Councilmember Genoway. Insides first.
Insides, okay. All righty. Well, Laguna Niguel has a new librarian. The new head librarian at our Laguna Niguel Library just reported for duty yesterday. Yesterday was her very first day, so I went in and welcomed her. Her name is Erica Reeb. So please, when you go in the library, please give Erica a very nice welcome from Laguna Niguel. We're very glad to have her. While some of you were at the Chamber of Commerce breakfast, I was up in Garden Grove at the 3rd Annual Leadership Forum on Aging. And very high-level discussions on what we're looking at in the county for our aging population, our senior population. I know you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again, is going to be doubling by 2040, and we need to be prepared for that. One of the issues that usually you don't hear brought up at a forum like this when we're talking about senior citizens aging is affordable housing and the lack of it for our younger people, because what is that going to do? Who is going to support that aging population as far as caregivers and as far as taxpayers? So that's something that it's all interconnected. The Alzheimer's Association spoke about, let's not talk right now about preventing Alzheimer's, but how powerful will it be if we can delay the onset by 5 years? Think of the tremendous quality of life that gives to the person, to the family, the cost savings to the family and to the community. And the research now is that whatever you do for cardiac health is for your brain health. So keep your heart healthy, and that, again, will help prevent delay the onset of Alzheimer's. As I was going over the things that I've done in the last couple of weeks, there were a lot of annual events that have come up. Those once-a-year events that come up from different organizations. And I was really astounded by the number of volunteers in our city who put all these things together and make these things happen. One of them was the Rotary Club of Laguna Niguel had their annual fundraiser, which is their signature event to raise money for local charities. And this year it was in memory of our former mayor, Jerry McCloskey. So he was the great Gatsby at the fundraiser, and we're still looking forward to getting the totals from that, but everyone had a great time. But again, it takes many volunteers to put that together so Rotary can raise money to give to our community groups, our community organizations, and to scholarships for our graduating high school seniors. Attended the Chamber of Commerce, their 35th anniversary party, along with Councilmember Davies, and and I was talking to Rick Van Alstine, the first Chamber of Commerce president, says, look at what you started. He says he had no idea it would be going this strong, far down the road. But again, it takes leadership and it takes people stepping forward to help that organization move along. And we have a very strong partner in our city with our Chamber of Commerce. And Mayor Slosowitz attended the Rotary fundraiser with me, so thank you for your support for Rotary and our charities. Another end-of-year celebration was Tech Tutors. So we had the Tech Tutor celebration. Again, Mayor Slosowitz was there. We presented certificates to about 25 high school students, and these are the high school students who give up their Friday afternoons to come teach senior citizens how to stay connected on their iPads, their iPhones, and other technology. And it's great to see those cross-generational friendships form. So that was their end-of-year celebration because the students have to get ready for finals. Finals will be coming up pretty soon with graduation on June 1st. Our end-of-year celebration for the Junior Civic Workshop is next Tuesday. So it'll be here at City Hall in the community room starting at 6:30. We have about 8 different electeds coming from other levels of government who will be telling the students what they do. And then your city council will be scooping ice cream. So it'll be a fun time, but we'll also recognize the students for their attendance at this workshop, which does help them become good citizens and teaches them what they can do to be a responsible citizen in the community. And it also gives them a look at different careers too, so they can be getting a glimpse of those as they go along. And then on May 25th, we will be having the human trafficking workshop. It's an awareness workshop so that people know what the signs are, how to identify it, what do you do if you suspect it? Because there are many victims who, if they know that there's somewhere to get help, they will speak up. But we have speakers coming from the Orange County District Attorney's Office, from the Orange County Human Trafficking Task Force. Thank you, Lieutenant Barr, for helping me with that connection. And we have a survivor, human trafficking survivor speaking and also people from other organizations. So again, this is to raise awareness, May 25th at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Davies.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, I was up in Sacramento for the League of City. We had Legislation Day, as well as one of the board of directors had the honor of meeting with Senator Pat Bates and going over some of her bills. And we also, at the board directors meeting, went over, obviously, the SB 1, which is the transportation bill that has been passed. And just a reminder, it's a $52.4 billion tax, as I call it, but I know they call it an investment over the next decade, focusing on fixing aging roads, highways, bridges. Investment package will be funded by increasing the gasoline tax by 12 cents. And again, this does go by inflation, so it will be adjusted. It could go up to 16 cents and so forth. It will be increasing the diesel sale tax by 4% and the excess tax by 20 cents. A new transportation improvement fee determined by the value of your car. So when it comes time for DMV, if you have obviously a newer car, it's going to be, could be up to 100, 150, 200. Like me, thank goodness, I have a very, very old car, so I'll probably be at the bottom. So if there's finally, some justice of having an old car. Also, a new fee on zero emission vehicles. So if you have a car that's saving gas, you will have a fee on that as well. And then there's also Caltrans efficiency measures. Taxes and fees will phase into starting this November. I'm not sure which one's going to start. And of course, again, it will be adjusted with inflation. For me, the very disappointing part of this is for the last 5 years and even to the last probably month, we were told that all of these taxes would go straight to infrastructure. And we were promised and promised and promised. As in the past, again, these funds went from transportation to general fund and never came back. So my concern now is that I believe it's it's not the DSO, it's it's one of the fees, but it's going on. We're going to be losing about 40% of taxes, will not be going for infrastructure. So that's very disappointing to me, and that's something that we've been discussing, and I think that you can still have your voice heard with your electives. So I would move on that. Also with the OCTA meeting, we've been discussing the paratransit and the access service. We did have to take out a few of the routes because we're not having the amount of people that we need. And something that's very important to me, and I know we've discussed this with Councilmember Genoway, we need to come up with options because we do have people in this city that aren't able to use the service anymore, and they need to get to San Clemente for rehab and clinics. So I do that OCTA is looking at other options for them. And if someone said this already, I think we went to the sheriff's breakfast. We were all there. It was great. Thank you, Chief. I think it's fantastic that you honor the sheriffs and you give us the opportunity as well every year. We are so blessed to have such an incredible team keeping our city as safe as they do. So thank you. Great job. And with the OCFA, I sit on the board there. What I'm looking forward to is we got to see the fire and rescue helicopter that came in last week. I don't know, Chief Perkins, were you there? Okay. Yeah. But it was great to see in person, and see, where the water is held for these fires and all the equipment. And then I've also spoke to Chief Adams, who happened to be there, and they have a big a drowning campaign. So that's something that I'm looking forward to working with him this coming year. So we're going to work together with that. And then just a reminder, we have our big military car wash this Saturday. And so whether your car is clean or dirty, just bring it out, and we won't charge you a tax. It's actually a donation instead, but it's from 10 o'clock to 2. It's at the corner of La Paz by Blaze Pizza and Corner Bakery. It's a great time. This is going to be for USS Stockdale, right? And so that'll be going to our Navy guys. But weather looks good, and this is one of our big fundraisers, so please come on in. We've got music going on, there's food, have a good time, but come and support us. And I think with that said, Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Jennings.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that the people here and the people at home celebrated in their own way last month in keeping with their own family traditions, but in case you didn't get to celebrate Mosquito Awareness Month as you wanted to, I was just going to remind you all that that's what it was. I have the privilege of serving on the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control Board for the city, and there are some very important things coming up. We are getting into the middle of mosquito season. It's coming up in the beginning in May, and this really isn't a joke. I mean, the Zika and West Nile virus they are deadly serious. They are here in our backyard, and we are doing everything we can to try to stop that. On that front, there was a very big push during the last meeting to try to vest in a very small group of people the authority to decide when and when not to spray for mosquitoes in Orange County. And it was my very strong opinion, I was glad to sort of lead a charge, if you will, to move people away from that and to get a motion that brought that into the entire Board of Trustees. So now then, and I'm happy to report to the council that passed. So we now have, before any spraying occurs in Laguna Niguel or anywhere in Orange County, the entire Board of the Trustees must convene, and they must get a majority of those votes based upon that. And that is a true win for local control. We're very much about that on the City Council and have been for a while. And I was pleased to see them go in that route. Also, you may have seen in the press, the Orange County Grand Jury issued a report to the Mosquito and Vector Control Board, and they sort of oversee some of the things that we're doing, and that's gotten a lot of press, and there were some great ideas in there. There's some other issues we're having to address, but I wanted to bring it up because we will be hearing more about that as it comes along, and it will be quite important. We also are going through the budget and finance process right now on that, and I'm tentatively pleased to report that it doesn't look like we're going to be any increases this year in fees for vector control, so we're able to do a lot without having to go back into the pockets. One thing I had a great time along with Mayor Slusowitz and just really hundreds of others was the Earth Day project at Nagel Botanical Garden weekend, Saturday 2 weeks ago. And what a great event. I mean, if you haven't been there, we say it all the time, don't we? It is the hidden gem in Laguna Niguel. But if you haven't been up there, man, I really encourage you to get up there and take a look at it. There are hundreds, I don't know, probably thousands of new plants because we dug all the holes and they're all in there now. But the folks came out in droves, and it is really a neat place up there. And just finally, I would close the night with a thank you to my wife, because tonight's our anniversary, and here I am. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Jennings. And again, I want to personally thank you for holding that vote for the full body on the vector control. You know, I know we all laugh and think it's pretty funny until you know somebody that had West Nile, or you see somebody that was a survivor, or hear some family member has passed, and then suddenly it hits home, because it does cross every age, race, gender, political affiliation, and affluence. This is a serious business, and this could be a very serious year. And so holding that vote out, where everyone has to be responsible for the vote, was a huge win by you, and I know you led that charge. So personally, I want to say thank you. There was a Orange County Mayor's Conference. It was here, well attended. I want to thank staff who helped put that together. They did a great job. Had a lot of attendance. We had Ms. Lopez speak from Molten Niguel Water. We had the transportation. We had the County Supervisor Bartlett here as well. It was a very good meeting. We did have a Meet the Mayor at Salt Creek Winery last week. Again, small but very informative attendance. Again, I want to thank staff for helping put that one together as well. I did the high five for mental health that we talked about. This is Mental Awareness Month. Again, stress is a problem. It really is, and that is a form of mental health, is having additional problems that you didn't anticipate, having to deal with things, and again, it does really hurt the youth in particular, because they're not able to cope with things. And in this age of technology, where you have not only the one-on-one type stressors, but now you start getting into email, text, all these internet type pressures, and the speed of information, it can be taxing. So again, it's every family needs to take a breath and try to decompress, as hard as that sometimes may seem. So I'm glad that we did the Mental Health Month, and that was brought last year by Councilmember Davies when she was the mayor. So again, I thank you for bringing that originally, and we're just continuing it. We also had an informal meeting with a number of South Orange County mayors at Mayor Dave Harrington's house from Aliso Viejo. We're trying to look at different options to reduce costs on a regional basis. That some of this has come out of some of these South County mayors meetings, was how can we maybe regionalize some things and make things cheaper. And I'm not saying we're going in that direction, but it's something that the mayors are exploring. And there might be some benefit to that. Nothing's going to happen without full council knowledge and approval. And again, tonight, four of us were for the Relay for Life kickoff. And again, only one of us wore purple, which was appropriate. So good job, Councilmember Genoway. But again, that's another thing. Either we know someone, everyone knows somebody, or else maybe you've had personal experience with cancer. Cancer used to be known as the killer, and now it's getting less so. It does still kill a lot of people, but with things like Relay for Life and awareness, this is something that potentially could be eradicated in our lifetime, or hopefully in a couple of lifetimes. With that, let's go around the room, and hopefully everyone's got something they could report on. Let's start with Chief Barr.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the sheriff, myself, and her entire command staff, I do want to thank you. and the city manager and assistant city manager for coming to our all-hands breakfast. Your support that day and your support year-round really does make a difference. Makes it much easier for me to recruit motivated and qualified personnel to work here in the city and give you the service that you and the citizens deserve. I'd also like to point out the purple kerchief in Councilmember Jennings' pocket there. Any man that can wear a kerchief without a mustache is a man in my book.
Thank you very much. Finance Director
Is that a
Erlinson.
motion, or
Finance Director Erlinson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two items to address tonight. The first is every month we have an investment portfolio that comes before the council. We had one on the agenda tonight. So I thought I would let you know that on May 13th, so this will appear in the May investment portfolio report that comes to you, we'll be having a Freddie Mac $1,000 principal bond maturing with a coupon rate at 50 basis points. We'll be reinvesting that in LAIF to make the Crown Valley Tier 2 and Tier 3 improvements on a cash basis. So I just wanted to address that. And LAIF really right now has about an 82, 83 basis point return, so we'll get some interest earnings on that as well. And then on May 10th again, I would like to remind the public that we have our budget workshop right here in the City Council chambers at 1 p.m. and public participation is always encouraged. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. City Attorney Dixon?
No, I don't have anything to report tonight.
Thank you so much. Chief Perkins, thank you for joining us. Is there something you want to report from the Fire Authority for us, please?
As mentioned, we will be putting together a drowning campaign every year. We know across the municipalities that we have drownings that occur in our private homes, swimming pools, and the apartment complexes throughout our cities. Laguna Niguel is not stranger to that, and we will be putting together another aggressive campaign for drowning, so be looking for that. And end my report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for attending tonight. Really appreciate that. Ms. Roseberry, Community Development Director.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to report to everybody that the SunPoint Environmental Impact Report is out for public review, and the 45-day review period will end on June 12th. City is welcoming comments, written form via email or regular mail, or dropping them off at City Hall, addressed to Senior Planner Jonathan Orduña. We will also be meeting with the Planning Commission at a special meeting on May 31st, a workshop, if you will, that's open to the public, so we can kind of go through the project itself and hit some of the issues, so everybody has a greater understanding of what is contained in that EIR before it gets back to the Planning Commission, probably in July.
May I ask a quick question here? Ms. Roseberry, I remember when we had one of these special meetings that I attended with a couple of my colleagues, one of the members of the public asked that if they submitted a question, and I know that each question had to be answered within the EIR, would they be notified? Are we sending a special letter about this special planning commission meeting so they can make sure they're in attendance or at least be notified of that?
We did a notification mailing for the EIR, and we will do a notification mailing for the workshop as well. And with every letter that comes in, every question is responded to, and those responses go back to the authors of the letters.
So they're notified via mail then, right? Besides
Yes.
having the meeting? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so
And
much.
when it gets to Planning Commission, as I said, probably in July, they will have all the letters and the responses as well.
Perfect. Again, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Ms. Bell, Management Services Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since we last met, we were able to hold 2 employee training and development sessions, one on time management that was offered by the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority, hosted here at the city. And then secondly, we talked about successful attitudes, behaviors, and responses to change among our employees. And we're on our way to having a well-developed and engaged employment workforce.
Great, thank you so much. City Clerk Gomez?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. We had the deadline passed now for the application period for the Youth Committee,
and we received 16 applications. Unfortunately, 2 of them are not residents, so we're going to have to disqualify them. But we are going to be contacting the students for their interview times for the May 22nd Youth Committee interviews. They start at 4:00 p.m. And I also serve on the Employee Recognition Committee, so I wanted to give you a quick update. We had a 60-day fitness challenge, and today we announced the winners. And if you saw these individuals 60 days ago, you could really see a difference. I was really impressed. We have pictures of them we're going to be emailing out. But they were Rick Larson of Public Works. He was the biggest loser. He lost the most weight. And we all really could see how much weight, just we could see the pounds dropping off literally almost on a daily basis. He really did an awesome job. John Pham was the second place winner. He's in Public Works as well. And Soleil Alameda was the first place winner in Parks and Rec. I heard she's a beast. So it was really a good challenge. It really, even though there were only 3 winners, but the people participated, and it kind of encouraged people to work on fitness and try and get healthy. So everyone is looking forward to the next one because we want to kind of compete now. So thank you for your support for the ERC.
Thank you. Parks and Rec Director Giglio.
Thank you, Mayor. This Friday, May 5th at 7 p.m., we have a family fun night featuring animal magic with live pets. Some of them are exotic, apparently. $5 per person at the Crown Valley Park Community Center. Also, the Youth Committee's Music and Arts Festival is Friday, May 19th from 6 to 10. It's a free event, but we are accepting donations, $10 donations for food from the In-N-Out truck. Proceeds will go to charity. We're still looking for bands, so if anybody knows middle or high school bands, we still have some spots available for that event. And applications for that and to participate as an artist are available on lnteens.org. And the Senior Club dance is the same night, an evening in Paris at Sea Country Center from 6:30 to 10. That's $25 per person. It's a really fun event, and tickets can be purchased at Sea Country Center in the club office Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're going to have rock and roll, swing, Latin, country, and more for dancing, so should be fun. And last but not least, the new and improved recreation brochure was delivered to residents' homes this past weekend. It has a lot of information about summer camps, swim lessons, and special events, but it also has information about how to protect yourself from West Nile virus, swim safety, sun safety, and with a lot of walkers out in the summer, we also have some information. So there's a lot of information in this. We encourage everybody to read it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assistant City Manager Fox.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Just want to remind everybody that the city, along with Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, will be hosting a community forum on the FAA Metroplex project, where we'll be able to provide additional information about commercial air traffic over South Orange County, including Laguna Niguel. The forum will be Monday, May 15th, from 6 to 8 p.m. here at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Evazada, Public Works Director.
Good evening. Our roadwork contractor who just finished Ridgeway, Mount Vernon, and Beacon Hill paving job is planning on starting on Moulton Parkway and Avila starting Monday. That's barring the projected rains that are supposed to come heavy this weekend. We'll see how that'll go. If the rains are light, as I said, they'll start on Monday on both roadways. Also, our contract at Crown Valley Park, they will be paving the northern parking lot this weekend. This Friday. And again, if there are no heavy rains this weekend, they'll be paving the bridge on Monday. So hopefully we'll be able to switch traffic to the new bridge on Tuesday next week.
Thank you for that update. Okay, City Manager Foster. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's
Chief
okay.
Clark.
I just had one other item I wanted to mention on, please mark your calendars for Saturday, May 13th. We'll be holding a coffee with a cop for the first time on a Saturday to see if we maybe can reach out to more of the public. That'll be at Corner Bakery starting at 7 a.m. on Saturday, May 13th.
Yeah, I know why you keep going back to Corner Baker, because they're the only place that hasn't gone out of business after coffee with a cop.
Unfortunately, it's turned out that way with a couple of them, yes.
Okay. Just joking there. City Manager Foster, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One item, I kind of took a jab here at our finance director. I don't think we have any $1,000 bonds. I bet you it was $1 million bond, but I like whenever I could kind of take a jab at him because it doesn't happen that often. So it'd be great if we did, I guess, have $1,000 bonds. I think we'd have a lot of them. But besides that, I just want to remind the council and the community, we have an upscale white tablecloth restaurant that we've wanted so long to have in our community, and it's Hendrix over in the Ocean Ranch Center from the Driftwood family of restaurants out of Laguna Beach. So now it's our responsibility to support that restaurant, to ensure that it is successful. I hear they're getting great reviews on Yelp, and I think everybody should take an opportunity to go over there. So they're a sustainable restaurant, and that center, of course, is one of our strongest centers. But we asked for a white tablecloth restaurant, and now Laguna Niguelians need to support it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Right, okay, just again, final comment that we do have a special meeting next week, Tuesday, at, is it Wednesday? I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. I knew it was the 10th, and I'm going, it's a second. I was doing the math in my head. Wednesday, at 1 p.m., and that is our annual budget workshop. These tend to be fairly lengthy meetings, but public input is strongly, strongly recommended. This is how we come up with our appropriations for spending of millions of dollars for the fiscal year, July 1st, 17 to June 30th, 2018. And we do encourage public support. If not, you can email Finance Director Erlinson through the city. It's serlinson@cityoflagunaniguel.org. Or again, you can always call the city, and we are always looking for input. Any other final comments? With that, we'll close the meeting at 8:27 p.m. Thank you all for your attendance. Have a great night.